A very good Monday evening to all of viewers. Welcome. This is Primetime News. We're coming to you live and direct this evening from Studio R here in Colombo. Bringing you the news tonight, I am Joel Outsgood. A very good evening, Zeedat.
Good evening, Joel, and good evening to all of our viewers. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
GOTABAYA RAJAPAKSA sworn in as the 7th executive president opposite the Ruan Valley Mahasaya.
ඔබේ නව ජනාධිපතිවරයා වශයෙන් යලිත් ඉල්ලා සිටින්නේ සැබෑ ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන් ලෙස එකට මා සමග එක්වන ලෙසයි.
Newly elected president invited to tour India. America says ready to work with the new president. Minister Partly submits his resignation. The Prime Minister must give way for the people's mandate, a statement from Mahinda Rajapaksa. UNP Parliamentary Group meeting inconclusive. The future of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පොදුජන සන්ධානයෙන් තමයි මැතිවරණට ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා කණ්ඩායමක් විදිහට රාජ්‍ය බලය ලබා ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
යම් එකකතාවයන් තිබෙනවා. ඒ එකකතාවයන් පවා යටත් වෙනවා සදාචාර දේශ.
On to our lead story this evening. GOTABAYA Rajapaksa took oaths as the 7th executive president of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka at the ancient Ruan Valley Mahasaya in Anuradhapura this morning.
The new president took oaths as the 7th executive president of Sri Lanka at a special stage set up adjacent to the statue of King Dutugamanu at the ancient Ruan Valley Mahasaya in Anuradhapura. A large crowd, including Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and a number of senior political figures, were present at the swearing-in ceremony of the new president. New President GOTABAYA Rajapaksa was sworn in before Chief Justice Jayantha Jayasuriya.
ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ වන මම ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතාන්ත්‍රික සමාජවාදී ජනරජයේ ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව ආරක්ෂා කොට අනුගමනය කරන බවටද ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ දේශය තුල වෙනම රජයක් පිහිටවීමට කෙලින්ම හෝ අන්‍යාකාරයකින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ හෝ ඉන් පිටදී ආධාර දීම අනුබල දීම අනුග්‍රහය දැක්වීම මුදල් යෙදවීම ධෛර්ය දීම හෝ දේශනා කිරීම නොකරන බවටද ගෞරව බහුමානයෙන් යුක්තව ප්‍රකාශ කොට ප්‍රතිඥා දෙමි.
President GOTABAYA Rajapaksa then addressed the nation.
සිංහල ජනතාවගේ සහායෙන් පමණක්.
Though I was aware that I could win the presidential election with only the support of the Sinhalese community, I requested the Tamil and Muslim communities to be a part of my victory. However, their response did not meet my expectation. As the new president of this country, I request everyone to unite as Sri Lankans. Now we all have the responsibility of taking our country forward as one nation. Your mandate has elected me as the president of this country to implement the proposals we presented through the people-centered policy manifesto. We will follow a neutral foreign policy with every country. We have no reason to get involved in the battles between other countries. We request all the nations to respect our nation's sovereignty.
The government should always set an example to the society. Professionalism and efficiency should be the cornerstone of government administration. Meritocracy and technocracy should be promoted at all times. Corruption will never be tolerated under my administration.
I am the executive president of this country. I am not going to hesitate to exercise my executive powers to ensure prosperity in Sri Lanka. I love my country and I am proud of my country. I have a vision for my country. I request all patriots to join hands to make this country a prosperous nation for our future generations.
සියලුම දේශප්‍රේමී ශ්‍රී ලාංකික ජනතාවගෙන් මා ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
Subsequently, the Mahasangha bestowed their blessings upon President GOTABAYA Rajapaksa. GOTABAYA Rajapaksa called on the Atamasthana-adhipati, Venerable Pallegama Sirinivasa Thero, and worshipped the Sri Mahabodhi.
The US Embassy, making an announcement today, congratulated on the democratically held presidential election of Sri Lanka and expressed their hope of working with President GOTABAYA Rajapaksa in the future.
The release says the United States congratulates the people of Sri Lanka on their democratic presidential election and looks forward to working with President GOTABAYA Rajapaksa. It adds Sri Lanka has continued to show the strength and resilience of its republic with a free, fair and transparent presidential election befitting Asia's oldest democracy. The US Embassy says we commend the Elections Commission, civil society and government authorities for promoting a peaceful election. It further states we are ready to continue our work with the new president and with all the people of Sri Lanka in supporting the country's sovereignty through heightened good governance, expanded economic growth, the advancement of human rights and reconciliation, and in fostering an Indo-Pacific region where all countries can prosper.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended an invitation to President GOTABAYA Rajapaksa to visit India on an official tour. Now, the invitation was extended over a phone call from the Indian Premier.
The office of the Indian Prime Minister said that Premier Modi congratulated President GOTABAYA Rajapaksa over the phone. During the conversation, Premier Modi had extended an invitation to the newly elected president to engage in a tour of India. The Indian Premier had expressed his confidence that Sri Lanka could strengthen peace and prosperity and brotherhood among the communities in Sri Lanka under the leadership of GOTABAYA Rajapaksa. He had also said that he believes the historic bond between the two nations could also be strengthened. According to the office of the Indian Prime Minister, he had also reassured that he will continue to work with the government of Sri Lanka to accomplish these goals. Meanwhile, China too congratulated GOTABAYA Rajapaksa on his victory at the presidential election, saying they are ready to work with him for greater progress in bilateral strategic ties and ensuring high-quality projects under the Belt and Road Initiative. According to the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman GENG, Sri Lanka has successfully held the presidential election, which is a major political agenda in the country. He also said, quote, "We are pleased to see that and offer our sincere congratulations to GOTABAYA Rajapaksa on his success," unquote.
The flag of the newly elected President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, GOTABAYA Rajapaksa, was introduced today.
A white lotus has been used as the main theme of the flag, and it depicts the pure governance of the president. Fame and glory have been depicted from the four-sided filaments that extend from the stigma of the white lotus. Wisdom and honesty have been depicted by the white and yellow circles around the lotus. Buddhism and the influence it has on the nation has been depicted by the bow leaves on the four corners. Necessary factors for happiness, Utthana Sampada, Arakka Sampada, Kalyana Mittana and Samajivatada have been also depicted from the bow leaves. Hospitality and accommodation extended towards the people who come from all corners of the globe to forge international ties are depicted by the four Na flowers in the four corners of the flag. Dark brown has been used as the main color of the flag, and protection provided in all aspects have been depicted by the white line around the flag. Unity between races, peace and mutual understanding have been depicted by the yellow color line.
With the new president being sworn into office, the official term of the 6th executive president of Sri Lanka came to an end. Well, this is a look back at the political career of President Maithripala Sirisena.
President Maithripala Sirisena, who was born a day after the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was officially formed, has an irreplaceable bond with the party. He was appointed to the position of Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party youth organisation of the Polonnaruwa electorate at the age of 17 in 1967, marking his debut in politics. He entered Parliament for the first time in 1989. In 1994, he was elected to Parliament again, this time securing the highest number of votes in the Polonnaruwa district. He was then appointed as the Deputy Minister of Irrigation in the government formed by the People's Alliance. In 2001, he was elevated to the position of General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. In 2004, he became the leader of the House in Parliament, and in 2005 he was appointed the Minister of Agriculture, Environment and Mahawali Development, and later in 2009, when the war was brought to an end, he served as the acting Defence Minister. In 2008, Maithripala Sirisena was the target of a terror attack that failed.
මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මහතා රැගත් රථපෙළකට බොරලස්කබුව ප්‍රදේශයේදී බෝම්බ ප්‍රහාරයක්
මම කොළඹ බරා පිටත් වෙමින් සිටින අවස්ථාවක තමයි මරාගෙන මැරෙන කාන්තාවක් පැන්නේ.
In 2010, he was made the Minister of Health, and with a resounding victory on the 8th of January 2015, Maithripala Sirisena became the 6th Executive President of Sri Lanka.
ආසනයේ සඳහන් කළ ආකාරයට අධිකරණයටත් ස්වාධීන කොමිෂන් සභාවලටත් රාජ්‍ය සේවයටත් ලබා දීම සඳහා අප කටයුතු කරන බව ප්‍රතිඥා දෙනවා. අපේ රටට අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ රජෙක් නොව සැබෑ මිනිසෙක්.
As he promised on that day, he dedicated himself to pass the 19th Amendment in Parliament and also reduced his official tenure by 1 year. He took on the country's drug menace head-on and did not falter in signing off on the death sentences of inmates on death row. President Maithripala Sirisena appointed a presidential commission to inquire into irregularities at Sri Lankan Airlines and MAHINDA. He also appointed a presidential commission to probe the corruption in his government, including the central bank bond scam. In a bid to spur development in the country, he also expedited the construction of the final reservoir, the Moragahakanda reservoir of the Mahawali project, and vested it with the public. He confidently faced the challenges that came his way, which included the many criticisms levelled against him. Maithripala Sirisena steps down from office of president with hopes of continuing his political journey further. On behalf of the nation, we extend our gratitude to you, President Maithripala Sirisena, for your services to our motherland.
An alms giving was held this afternoon at the ABHAYARAMA temple in Narahempita in celebration of the 74th birthday of the opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa. The ceremony was held at the premises of the ABHAYARAMA temple. The alms giving was held under the auspices of the chief incumbent of the Narahempita ABHAYARAMA Vihara, Venerable Muruttettuwe Ananda Thero. Afterwards, Mahinda Rajapaksa and Shiranti Rajapaksa offered alms to the 7 mothers. The opposition leader answered questions raised by journalists after this event.
මේ කැබිනට් එකේ භාගයක් දැන් අස් වෙලානේ. ටිකක් බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා මොකද වෙන්නේ යන්නේ. ඒ වගේ පේනවා අනුත් මම හිතන්නේ ඒක ඒ විදිහට විය යුතුයි කියලා. පළස්සලා මැතිවරණයේදී ජන ඉස්රායල් මහමැතිවරණයේදී මොන මැතිවරණයක් ඉදිරියට එයිද? අපි බලමු ඉතින් ඒක. දැන් අපි දකිනවා මේ පෞද්ගලික පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණයක් එන එක නේද හොඳ මේ වෙලාවේ. පහුගිය ආණ්ඩු දූෂණ වලට වංචා වලට සිද්ධ වෙච්ච නැති අමතවරුන්ට ඒ ඔක්කොම අපි පරීක්ෂා කරන්න නීත්‍යානුකූලව පරීක්ෂා කරන්න මේ කට්ටිය වගේ මේ පෞද්ගලික කාලේ වගේ දේශපාලන පරිගැනීම් වලට නෙමෙයි.
After speaking to the media, this is the manner that the opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa engaged in celebrations. This is how Mahinda Rajapaksa celebrated his birthday.
To you, happy birthday, dear sir. Happy birthday to you.
Well, with the appointment of a new president, what will be the plan for the future? News First spoke to Mahinda Amarveera and Kehelia Rambukwala in this regard after the swearing-in ceremony of President GOTABAYA Rajapaksa.
As far as I know, we cannot dissolve Parliament just like that. The official tenure of the present Parliament must end. Thereafter, a parliamentary election will take place. We hope to contest the elections as an alliance and obtain state power.
රාජ්‍ය බලය ලබා ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
කොහොමද මේ කාල සීමාව තුළ ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ නායකතුමා වත්මන් ආණ්ඩුවත් එක්ක ගනුදෙනු කරන්නේ?
The president will take a decision in this regard soon.
ජනාධිපතිතුමා
අපේ හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමා මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මහත්මයා කොහොමද ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහතා සභාවේ ඉදිරියට එන දේශපාලනයට එනවද සායතුමාගේ දායකත්වයේ කොයි විදිහටද?
මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන
Former President Maithripala Sirisena continues to hold the position of chairman of this party. We will support him in the future. He will engage in politics in the future and will provide his support to the new president, GOTABAYA Rajapaksa.
අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කටයුතු කරනවා. අලුත් වැඩපිළිවෙල.
The citizens of Sri Lanka have made it very clear that they require a new program. Therefore, most probably it will lead to a parliamentary election or some form of a positive program in parliament that would ensure the newly elected president will be able to exercise his powers.
බාධාවක් නොවන ආකාරයට කටයුතු කරයි කියලා.
ඔබතුමා විශ්වාස කරනවාද පසුගිය ආණ්ඩු සමයේ වෙච්ච අඩුපාඩු හදාගෙන අලුත් මුහුණු සහිතව මේ රටේ පාලන තන්ත්‍රයට දායක වෙන කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයක් පත් වෙයි කියලා?
පැහැදිලිවම.
Clearly, yes. Rectifying mistakes is the responsibility of everyone. I believe the ability to recognize those who are capable of undertaking responsibilities also plays an important role. Today I heard him saying photographs of ministers at their respective ministries are not required. Such progressive and ethical steps can be taken forward.
එවැනි දේවල් වලට ඉදිරියට යන්න හැකියාව.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයකම සම්බන්ධ කරගන්න.
ඒ සම්බන්ධව
There are several agreements in this regard. Those agreements are subject to ethical politics.
චාර දේශපාලනයට.
This was the response of the general public when several ministers of the United National Party attended the swearing-in ceremony of the newly elected president.
The parliamentary group of the ruling party convened this evening and the discussion concluded without a decision being reached.
The discussion was led by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe at the parliamentary premises. The future procedure of the ruling party with the appointment of the new president has been discussed in length at the meeting. Several MPs have stated that the party should lend their support towards an election, while most of the young MPs have said that they should adhere to the public mandate and hand over the government to hold a general election after the estimated time period. We immediately have to give our fullest support to the government to hold the parliamentary election. I think we can act on that. We are in no hurry to go to a general election, but we have to bow down to the people's mandate and hand over the government to them. Definitely the party should be reorganized.
We
finally decided to have a discussion with the party leaders and come to a decision, because according to the new constitution, our government has time till March. We have to wait and find out. About the party leadership and whether we will go and join the opposition will be decided following the discussion on Wednesday.
We have to salute the mandate of the people and we have to create a good background for the current president to run the country. There is nothing left to ask from him. The people have given their answer. We wish the current president Gotabaya Rajapaksa. We will be in the opposition. That is not a problem.
The
Prime Minister said at the discussion that a meeting will be held to meet all the leaders of the SLPP. Many members of the working committee were present today. We inquired their opinion as well. We will reach a decision after holding discussions with Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. We are ready to go for an We are at a stance that the party should be reorganized and should prepare for the upcoming election. The party should be reorganized in a way that the country can go forward by changing all the positions starting from the leadership itself. If not, we will step aside as the young group of the party. We are not agreeing to give the two-third majority to dissolve the parliament by any means. Now they have 3 months to start doing what they promised. The country would not present a budget in the next year. A budget would not be presented in the next year. So we will ask them to present a budget and we will wait and see how they allocate money. We will watch how they will form a government and start working in the coming 3 months.
Partali Champika Ranavaka stepped down as the Minister of Megapolis and Western Development this morning. He was the latest in a list of ministers to tender resignations.
Partali Champika Ranavaka has informed of his resignation to President GOTABAYA Rajapaksa via a letter. In his letter, he has congratulated the newly elected president and has extended his wishes for a successful tenure ahead. Meanwhile, Minister of Transport Ashok Abesinghe resigned from his position this morning as well. In addition to this, Mangala Samarveera, Kabir Hashim, Malik Samaravikrama, Ruan Vijayawardena, Harin Fernando and Ajit P. Pereira resigned from their respective ministries yesterday.
Presidential candidate of the National People's Power, ANURA DISSANAYAKE, convened a media briefing today.
University lecturers, artists, lawyers and other intellectuals also attended this media briefing. We expected a certain result. However, the result that we expected cannot be seen in this election. We believe that this country and the people of this country should select the path shown by us at this election. Also, there was a sharp division, and this division was also reflected in the election result. One faction had used racism as the base for their election campaign and built an opinion based on national security and the security of the general public. That is what was reflected in the result from the southern part of the country. The people in the north and the east have a fear about a threat to the existence of their community. With this new political unfoldings, the election results also reflect the fact that this community too has taken a decision regarding this matter to ensure the safety of their community. Instead of considering this from the day that I assumed leadership, we gained ground in 2015. We increased the number of our MPs in 2015. Before that, we only had 3 MPs representing the JVP in Parliament. That was in 2010. In 2015, we increased that to 6. Also, at the local government election, we managed to increase our representation in local councils twofold. So there is a development in the results. There is also a fallback. I think we should be able to understand that politically. We do not see these developments as a victory of mine or these fallbacks as losses suffered by myself. We will first see if they bring such a motion to Parliament. This is not a switch of powers within Parliament. This is a shift of powers that happened according to the will of the people. So I think that all political parties should agree with this shift. We must accept the people's mandate.
Presidential candidate of the National People's Party, Mahesh Senanayake, convened a media briefing today.
First, I would like to congratulate GOTABAYA Rajapaksa on his victory at the presidential election. I would also like to state that we would like to engage in discussions to support the policies in his election manifesto. We think that he will have the courage and strength to implement the policies included in his election manifesto. I would like to thank my fellow brothers and sisters who cast their vote for the light bulb. I would like to state that we are holding discussions on continuing to engage in politics with this victory that we secured and the trust that the people have placed in us. We will be contesting at the upcoming elections, including the general election.
අපි පැහැදිලිවම ඉදිරියේදී මැතිවරණවලට ඉදිරිපත් වීම ඉතාමත් වැදගත් බව මම මෙහිදී කියන්නට කැමතියි. අපේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති සමාජගත කිරීම තුළ
Most of the policies that we presented to the general public were also included in the manifesto of GOTABAYA Rajapaksa. That too is a victory that we secured. The National People's Party, the National People's Movement, is with the general public. We will move forward as a team until we accomplish the goals of the general public.
Moving on to more news this evening, European Union Election Observation Mission in Sri Lanka and the Asian Network for Free and Fair Elections, or ANFREL, presented the outcome of their International Election Observation Assessment today. The role of media in the run-up to the presidential election was a key highlight in both reports.
ANFREL commended the people of Sri Lanka for a largely peaceful and orderly election. It adds the voter turnout of 83.6% is a clear indication of the country's commitment to staying on course of achieving genuine democratic and mature political processes. The report also highlights certain issues that requires the attention of various stakeholders to further enhance the country's electoral process and also promote public confidence in them. Speaking at the media briefing, the head of the mission of ANFREL to Sri Lanka expressed the following views.
Firstly, there's no perfect election, as they call it. Almost always the best elections will have certain inadequacies. I think we are all agreed. The media now has a more conducive atmosphere in relation to press freedom compared with, let's say, 10 years ago. But at the same time, the perception among candidates, voters, and observers is that the media has been blatantly biased in many instances, more particularly with private media.
Meanwhile, the European Union Election Observation Mission has concluded that the presidential election was largely free of violence and technically well managed, but that unregulated campaign spending, abuse of state resources and media bias affected the level playing field. In a release, the European Union Election Observation Mission says they were invited to observe the election by the Election Commission of Sri Lanka and undertake its work in accordance with the Declaration of Principles for International Election Observation. Page 12 of the said report, issued by the EU-EOM, says Sirius TV offered its viewers more balanced coverage, both in time, 41% and 38% to Sajid Premadasa and Gotabaya Rajapaksa respectively, and tone, with neutral information prevailing in the coverage of all candidates.
Let's now take a look at some of the latest developments in the international arena.
Several protesters have been arrested while trying to run from a Hong Kong university campus surrounded by police. A group of about 100 people tried to leave the university but were met with tear gas and rubber bullets. It's the third time protesters have tried to leave following a violent and fiery overnight standoff with the police. Hundreds of protesters were holed up in campus with petrol bombs and other homemade weapons amid fears of a bloody crackdown. Protesters tried to make a run for it in the afternoon but were met with more volleys of tear gas. Police urged protesters to drop their weapons and leave. Police in Californian city of Fresno were investigating a mass shooting at a football game party in which at least 10 people were shot, killing 4, with 5 others left in critical condition and another wounded. 3 men died on the scene and another died at hospital. 6 more were hospitalized. A gunman started shooting after entering the backyard of a South Fresno home where a gathering of family and friends were watching a football game before 8 p.m. New Delhi residents said the pollution situation was better as compared to the previous days as schools reopened in the capital city after being shut for 2 days. People who came out to carry out their daily activities were seen without masks, while students turned up in a huge number as their classes resumed. The city government of Delhi had imposed a 2-day shutdown on schools for a second time this month after a spike in pollution levels. But air quality is likely to remain very poor, a notch below the most hazardous severe rating, raising health risks for millions of students.
Parliamentarian Harin Fernando, speaking to his staff after resigning from the position of Minister of Sports, expressed these views.
These past few days, I thought a lot about the Ministry of Sports and about the officials at the Ministry of Sports. This is a very complicated subject. I must say something about Panduka Kirthikanda. He's a very talented person and worked well. He saved sports in the country from betting and other corruption related to sports by submitting bills to Parliament and passing them into law. This is a great victory to the Ministry of Sports. No matter who comes in as the Minister of Sports, I believe that you will work towards doing the right thing. I resigned from this position because the people of this country have given their mandate and we must respect that. Our positions are temporary. All state officials who work well with a strong backbone do not have to bend to the whims of any minister. I am very happy about the state of sports. The sports in the country has progressed. I must also deliver a message today. We have been given the opportunity to host the SARC Games in Sri Lanka in 2021. I think discussions on this matter are ongoing. The officials at the Ministry of Sports are headed into a very busy period in the future. No one will have the opportunity to steal and destroy sports from inside in the future. I met with the players as much as I could and I spoke with them. Sports is a part of the people of this country. Our responsibility is to take care of these players and provide them with the required facilities. I really wanted to go back to the old system where national level players were given a job in the state sector. I hope that even though I leave, you can hold discussions with the new minister and do something like this. It will be really good news to the sportsmen of the country.
මේ වගේ දේවල් කරලා දෙන්න පුළුවන් නම් ලංකාවේ ක්‍රීඩකයන්ට ගොඩක් සතුටුදායක පණිඩයක් වෙයි.
Well, on that note, we wrap this edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by.
You can follow us on www.newsfirst.lk for more of the latest updates. I'm Zenith Musafir.
I'm Joel Outskoon. Take care. Good night.